Functions are the heart of any programming language. They allow us to break a bigger problem into smaller, manageable parts. Instead of writing the same code again and again, we write it once inside a function and then call whenever it is required. So in the previous video, we discussed about the functions and different types of functions. So in this video, we are talking about first type of function, a function with no parameters and no value, no written value. Imagine a human being who perform a task without taking any input, and after performing the task they does not give you any value. They does not return any value. Such functions are functions with no parameters and no return value. Let us see the first example. I always love to trace the program. So here there are first line and second line, or I'll call it as Roman number 1. First, program starts getting executed from the main and it starts greet. You need to understand the difference between calling the function and declaring the function. And many students have a problem to understand why void comes here or why integer, float, character or any string mentions before the function name. It is very simple. As I mentioned, this is a function where it does not take any parameters and it does not return any value. If a function does not return any value, look at this function greet. What it is doing, it is just displaying the message good morning. Its job is whenever we are calling this function, it says hello, hi, good morning. Of course, hello, hi is not mentioned here, good morning. And it is not returning any value to you and it is not taking any memory location from the computer. So we are mentioning it as void. I believe you understand this example. Let us see the example number 2. No parameters and no written value. Let us consider there is a person called print numbers. That person's job is to print the natural numbers from 1 to 5. That is his job. Now look at this program. It has first line, second line, and I'll name it as 1 and 2. As I mentioned, program starts from main. You might have wondered why int is mentioned here and why void is mentioned here. Sir, you mentioned this program is no parameters and no written value. If it is not returning any value, why you have mentioned integer over here? Observe this program. Main function is returning a value 0. So 0 is an integer data type. We mention integer here. For the print numbers function, it is not returning anything here, so we mentioned void over here. When we mention void, it means we are not returning any value. Very simple. Let us trace this program. Now the first statement, print numbers. It means we are calling the function. The first statement itself, we are calling the function. Then compiler will come to the function and look at the first statement. The first statement is int I is equal to 1, 1 less than or equal to 5. So I value is 1, 1 less than or equal to 5. Then printf 1. So we are printing 1 here. Next, it goes back, increment the value I++. That means now I value has become 2 and checks the condition 2 less than or equal to 5. Next, from here, print I value. What is the I value currently? It is 2. And go back, I++. That means I is equal to 3, 3 less than or equal to 5. And come back here, print 3, of course, I need to mention 2, 3. Next, goes back, I++. Now, I value has become I is equal to 4. 4 less than or equal to 5, print 4. Now it prints 4 value, then increment operator I++. First statement here, I is equal to 5, 5 less than or equal to 5, condition is true, then it prints 5. So 5 is printed. Go back and does the increment operator, I value will become 6. 6 less than or equal to 5, condition fail. It exits and come back to here return 0. So return 0, it means integer, we are mentioning it before the main, so we are returning 0. Sir, what if we are not returning 0? So then return 0 you remove, int you remove, mention void. So this is the example number 2. Let us see one more example so that we will get better clarity about no input, no parameters and no return value. Third example, let us consider there is a human being. Let us consider there is a human being who does multiplication of 5 from 5 multiplied by 1 to 5 multiplied by 5. Whenever we call this function, he will tell 5 into 1 is equal to 1, 5 into 2 is equal to 10, similarly till 5 into 5 is equal to 25. That is his job. Let us try to trace the program. My bad here, int main, I need to mention return 0. Let us consider this is first line, this is second line, and inside the print this is Roman number 1 and Roman number 2. Now print table. First statement that gets executed is print table. What are we doing here? We are calling the function. That is the reason we are using semicolon. This is a block of code that we want to reuse. Whenever we call print table, it prints 5 into 1 to 5 into 5. It is not taking any parameters and it is not returning any value. So this is the type 1 that we were discussing. Now let us trace the code. First statement printf, that means we are calling the function. When we are calling the function, the first statement in the function is int I is equal to 1. Then 1 less than or equal to 5 condition is true. Here printf, I am not writing the complete statement, I will just mention 5 multiplied by I value is 1 is equal to 5 into 1, 5. These statements get executed. That is the second statement. From here it goes here I plus plus. Now we are running in a loop. I value is updated to 2. The condition 2 less than or equal to 5. Here second statement 5 multiplied by 2 value, I value, that is 2, 5 into 2 10, and updates the I value here. Again, since we are in the loop, I value updated to 3, 3 less than or equal to 5. Come to the second statement, 5 multiplied by 3 is equal to 15, I plus plus. So here I value is updated, I is equal to 4, 4 less than or equal to 5. Second statement in the function, 5 multiplied by 4 is equal to 20, I plus plus, I value is updated to 5, I is equal to 5, 5 less than or equal to 5. Second statement, 5 multiplied by 5 is equal to 25. It updates the value I plus plus, I value is updated to 6, 6 less than or equal to 5 is the condition which fails. After this condition fail, it come back to the return 0 and it returns the value 0. So in type 1 function, just like our human example which I mentioned, it does not take any input and it does not return any output. You might be thinking, sir, it is printing. No, printing is not the returning value. Returning the value means this function generates the output and gives back to the main function. So is it happening in this way? Since it is not happening in that way, either it is taking any parameter nor returning any value. In the next video, we will see that either it takes the input but it returns a value. There are total 4 types that we are talking about that we will discuss in the further videos.